Welcome everybody to the Spring 2024 Fuel Demo Day. Our judges are actually still deliberating in the back from, they got to watch recordings of the 10 teams that are pitching this evening, and then they just recently wrapped up their Q&A about 30 minutes ago. Got to quickly grab some dinner, and they will be sharing some of their thoughts and feedback with everybody pretty soon, but I want to get started for sake of time. All right, so we are currently in the Pava Center. We were recently renamed on April 6th there was a program dedication. And this program tonight is called the Fuel Accelerator. It's a semester-long upper-level accelerator designed to help committed student ventures scale up. It's a very competitive program. We had over 40 applicants for only 10 slots. So these are some of the best student ventures that we see, and we're really excited not only to highlight what they accomplished during the semester, but we know and are confident that they'll continue to grow and progress in coming years ahead. I see many Fuel alumni in this crowd, so if you want to quickly raise your hand, wanted to give you all a quick shout out. I don't know all of you because I've only been in the role for about a year and a half, but a lot of these teams are still in operation today and have been really great supports to current student teams. This is our small but mighty Pava Center team. Josh Ambrose is the director of the Pava Center. He is still in the back meeting with our esteemed judges, but you'll see him during the evening, and he'll be up here from time to time. I'm the assistant director of student ventures. We're joined by Sephora St. Armand. She's the student program manager, waving over there. I don't know if people online can see her, but she is here with us. Anthony Waters is the director of the Social Innovation Lab. He's also over here. The Social Innovation Lab program has their demo day on May 16th, so we'll share a little bit more about that. If you have a good time this evening, would really encourage you to attend that as well. A group of 10 outstanding teams. And then Elena DeBold is the marketing and operations coordinator. She is busy in the back taking some photos, but definitely say hi to her this evening. Fuel could not run without our student strategic advisors. We've been really lucky to have Shreen and Fayez with us they've been with Fuel the whole year, but they've worked with Spark last year and they're about to graduate. So we will really miss them, but I know they are going to be very successful in their careers post Fuel, and hopefully they'll stick around to continue supporting teams, but they offer weekly guidance to all of our teams. They led some workshops throughout the semester, and they even continue to meet with some of the Fuel alumni teams right now to just share their expertise and guidance and help move forward. Before I mentioned speakers this semester, I should have mentioned on the Pava Center team, we're part of Johns Hopkins Technology Ventures, and some of the JHTV colleagues seems like they all congregated to my left, but really happy to have all of them in the crowd this evening, and wanted to just provide a special shout out to Myron, who's the senior director of Fast Forward, and also Christy Weiskill, who leads all of JHTV. And we really couldn't do this work without their leadership, but also the collaboration with all of our other JHTV colleagues. And so happy to have you with us this evening. But during the semester, part of Fuel each week, we bring in a guest speaker to share their entrepreneurship journey or connect with students, give feedback, share what maybe went wrong for them. Sometimes that's the most valuable information to not repeat some of the same mistakes that they have perhaps made. As you can see, it's a pretty extensive list. In the past, we had headshots for everybody, but that would be multiple slides. So really diverse group of individuals. Some of them are in the crowd this evening from some of our recent Fuel alums that are here. And then Elise and Balint Benet are here. They've met with many teams. They led a workshop for not only Fuel, but also for the Spark cohort this past semester. And then not listed on this slide are the over 30 additional mentors that all of the Fuel ventures have met with during the semester. Each team was guaranteed a minimum of 3 mentorship connections, and we really cannot do this work without alumni. Most of the folks on this list are, not all of them, but probably like 75 to 80% of them are Johns Hopkins University alumni. And we are just so appreciative of the time and knowledge and expertise that they share with current students. Just really could not run this program without their support. And again, not only do they offer their time and knowledge and expertise, many of them are also supporting our program financially. All of the awards this evening and all of the stipends that teams receive are because of alumni and other partners that really feel strongly about this work and want to support it financially. So wanted to take a little bit of time to um, acknowledge that support that they provided not only this semester, but the past 5 years that our program has been in operation. Tonight, this is the exciting part. Every team tonight is walking away with at least $5,000. This is funding that can be used to push their venture forward, provide or like some of the technology that they need um, to purchase or get advisors or just kind of stay in operation post fuel. And then also tonight, all of you get to vote on the $5,000 second place prize. All of you should have gotten a ballot. If you didn't get one, don't worry. We'll be handing them out, or we have them in the front, or you can get them when it's time after the 10 pitches this evening. The cohort themselves selected the third prize, and they all voted for everybody except themselves. So we'll be announcing that award as well. And then seems like the judges are having a heated conversation because they still haven't returned from deliberating after watching their recordings and meeting with them the past hours. So so all of that will be decided tonight. We have some big checks to hand out, and we're really excited to do that. But this is a celebration for all of the teams and what they've accomplished, not just the 3 additional winners. Everyone is walking away with additional funding. And I want to just mention we had this time of year, there's a lot of different pitch competitions. Several recent Fuel alum participated in the Carey Business School Student Venture Showcase. And myself and Shreen, Fayez, Josh, all of us were just chatting with each other from December till May. The teams that had already done Fuel have grown and improved so much. And then we had 2 teams tonight that also were selected to pitch this past Tuesday. So incredible work is happening at the Pava Center. These are our esteemed judges who are still in the back. You'll get to meet a couple of them, I think, plan to stay for the whole evening. But we have Wendy Bolger. She is the director of the Simon Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Loyola University, just up the street. Part of our mission here is to connect with the broader Baltimore community, and that involves working with other universities in the area. And we're thankful for her partnership. Adam Phillips is the managing director of Techstars. Several of our Fuel alum have gone on to complete additional accelerators. Techstars is one of them, and Adam actually oversees the Equitech Accelerator, which is in Baltimore, but there's also another accelerator in Washington, D.C., which brings me to Rebecca, who has completed the Techstars Equitech Accelerator. So that was a nice little reunion a couple minutes ago in the judges' room. Many of you have probably seen Rebecca in our space. She is the CEO and founder of Reboca, and based right here in Baltimore, creating really important technology for individuals with certain vision impairments. And finally, we have Yair Flicker. He is the president and founder of SmartLogic, also a Johns Hopkins University alum. Tonight, there are 10 teams. It's going to be kind of a rapid fire 5-minute pitch per team. There isn't time set for Q&A among audience members, but we've built in more time this evening. Really want to encourage you to find teams that you found especially intriguing after all of the pitches are over. Because there are only 5 minutes each, this should leave over an hour to connect and socialize and network after all of the pitches are over. And then after the 10 pitches are complete, that's when you'll vote for your favorite or teams that you think have the most potential. There's not a set rubric that you have to follow, but we have a couple guiding points when it gets to that time. And then we'll announce the grand prize, audience choice, and the cohort prize. And now I think is the really exciting moment where we what you all came here for is for the live pitches themselves. The first team of tonight is Peripheral, so I want to invite up Erica.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica. I'm excited to share with you today Peripheral and to go first. I'd like you to think of Jack, a young accountant who gets into a car accident and injures the nerves in his arm, and as a result, the only control he has of his fingers is to lightly flex. He can no longer work, he can no longer go rock climbing, and he can no longer pick up his daughter. So Jack goes to physical therapy because the peripheral nerves do regenerate, and unfortunately, his function is still pretty limited. So he goes to nerve surgery and goes back to physical therapy to help with his recovery, but he's only able to slightly grip. And the cycle continues for him to try and get his life back, but he lives the rest of his life with this disability. Now, unfortunately, there are 20 million Americans like Jack who get peripheral nerve injuries either from car accidents or carpal tunnel, and that's over 3 times this population of the state of Maryland. There are no FDA-approved therapeutics for peripheral nerve injuries, which is where Peripheral comes in. We have taken insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1, which is a small protein that is FDA-approved, taken that, encapsulated into nanoparticles, and have completed the preclinical testing for a sustained release, and then embedded those nanoparticles into an injectable gel carrier that is in clinical trials by LifeSprout, and this allows for local sustained release anywhere in the body that there is a nerve injury. Our secret sauce is that IGF-1 provides many different aspects of therapy to different cells, not just increasing nerve regeneration. It's a first to market biologic drug delivery system that's backed by many years of science. In our preclinical nerve injury rodent and non-human primate models, we see a 30% increase in grip strength. That's the difference between Jack being able just to flicker his hands and being able to grip and go back to work. We see our value coming at multiple different points during the patient journey, from physical therapy to nerve surgery, and then also to help with functional recovery after physical therapy, afterwards surgery. We see our total addressable market being the global peripheral nerve injury market is 1.3 billion, but we're going to start with our direct repair nerve injury market, those patients that do need to go for surgery. Right now, the cost for insurance for those patients who do need surgery, it's about $80K for both surgeries and physical therapy. And with our 30% increase in functional recovery, we see a 20% decrease in cost, lessening the time of physical therapy as well as obviating the need for more surgery. Our impact is much more than that for each individual patient, as many peripheral nerve injury patients are quite young and spend the rest of their lives with disability. We are saving them over $2 million over the course of their lives. We estimate the cost of treatment for peripheral to be around $87K. It's one dose every 6 weeks, estimating about 8 doses for 1 year and giving a lifetime back to them. In entering the market, we're going to start with our academic nerve surgeons. We've presented our technology at many different conferences, such as ASPN, and we have many friends and many partners at other academic institutions like Harvard. There are 100K nerve surgeries occurring per year, and if we're able to capture just 25% of that, we can see $2.2 billion in revenue. Our company is the only one that has that secret sauce of being able to help with multiple different cells, but it's also the only one that's able to be used in clinic. It doesn't require surgery, which NerveGen and NeurAptiv, the only other 2 therapeutics in this space, require that surgery to happen. Axogen through Vivex, those are all companies in the peripheral nerve injury market, but they're all focused on devices. In terms of our team, there is myself, an MD PhD candidate in the lab of Dr. Sami Tufaha, who is a world-renowned nerve surgeon who has identified this need in his patients. We have collaborated with Dr. Haishun Mao and Dr. Shashank Reddy, who are serial founders and are the co-founders behind that LifeSprout technology, as well as receive advice from Dr. Ahmed Hoke, a renowned specialist in neuromuscular disorders. In terms of our milestones, we have completed our efficacy studies and filed our provisional patents, and we're currently preparing for the studies that will allow us to get to clinical trials. We're hoping to get there next year, and the funds needed for that are $300K. I hope you'll join me and Peripheral in redefining life after nerve injury and helping Jack get a better grip on life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Erica. Again, for everybody in the audience, there will be time built in, and we're gonna have a quick break after about half of the ventures have gone. So encourage you to take notes, and if you have any questions about the venture or what she just shared, please take note of that and get in touch. She has her email and everything here, so you can take a quick photo of that if you would like. Next, I'm really pleased to bring up Jody with WellCheck. Or sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Warren with Squid 3. Sorry about that. Gave you a heart attack.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Warren Su, co-founder and CEO of Squid3 Space. And at Squid3, we're developing software-definable thermal solution to help satellite manufacturers integrate the thermal systems 30 times faster. And specifically, we're pioneering the use of e-ink technology, the same one that goes on your Amazon Kindles, to control temperatures of satellites in space. And for context, space has very extreme temperatures, so every satellite needs a thermal control system. Our founding team has 60 years of combined experience in space technology R&D. I myself worked as a satellite control operator at the Taiwan Space Agency and met my two co-founders at a space conference in LA. My COO, Dustin, built satellites that went to the moon, and my CTO, Brian, is a former materials engineer at NASA JPL. And here's where we see an opportunity for Squid3. Satellites traditionally take months to years to develop, but the US Space Force aims to establish a capability to integrate their future satellites in just under 60 hours, so-called tactically responsive space. However, there are significant challenges in doing so. Mainly, the thermal control solutions available on the market today are not very adaptable to different missions. And this is caused by using thermal materials that are fixed in properties. And as a result, manufacturers currently take 3 to 6 months to develop a different thermal system for each new mission. So when we did our customer discovery with the top 30 major space companies, we told them this. Imagine there were a one-size-fits-all solution that works for a wide range of missions. What if we go develop these smart materials that have dynamic properties that can be configured through software? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it's over there. Okay, that's what our Astro tape is capable of. Astro is designed to transform satellite exteriors into programmable surfaces that can match different mission environments, whether it's hardware code, instantly. And this can help satellite manufacturers reduce their thermal development cycle from the average 3 to 6 months today down to a timeline of days or weeks. Now, there's a bit of competition, but Astro outperforms its competitors by providing an integration schedule that's 30 times faster and a price tag that is 2 times more affordable. Our initial market focus is the $600 million satellite thermal control market. We're targeting a terrestrial application with our technology, specifically on providing smarter energy-saving roofs for greenhouse farms. So combined with this terrestrial market, our total market size will increase to $2.1 billion. Our revenue is projecting to reach $98 million by 2030, and we offer our Astro tapes through a direct hardware sales and price them per area at different profit margin. Our solution also includes the control software to configure and operate Astro on ground and in space, and their price per unit. So far, Squid3 has received interest from Northrop Grumman and several leading space companies, including Altius, Orion, and Starfish, which are all active contractors of the US Space Force. And our technology has received positive reviews from the experts at the Air Force Research Lab. And in the past 3 months, we completed our MVP development. We're currently in the process of performing environmental testing on the MVP, as well as filing a provisional patent. We recently also been selected for a $75K SBIR Phase 1 study with the US Air Force. And finally, we're targeting to test fly our technology on the International Space Station by Q4 2025. At this stage, we're raising $200K for a 12-ton runway to get us to space. Finally, winning the 12K, in the words today, will allow us to focus on delivering delivering samples to our first 3 customers in our sales pipeline. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Warren. And next we have a two folk, or maybe just Julie coming up. And they are with the company called Mellowscene.
All right.
All right, I'm Chad Gerber.
And I'm Julie Gerber, and we are the founders of Mellowscene, where you can collaborate on music with anyone, anywhere, anytime.
So quick show of hands, how many people in here make music or nobody, somebody that makes music? Okay, cool.
We're in a time when practically everyone is a musician. Creation is entertainment, and the current music tools make it so easy that kids and pros alike are making beats, producing tracks, and sharing them online.
So with that, creating is still expensive, it's time consuming, and ironically, it's become lonely with over 100 million creators being scattered across the globe with no efficient way to connect with one another.
Our virtual studios bring all these creators together into virtual rooms where they can collaborate remotely as if they were in the same room. In this first global recording session, they were able to record a track in 15 minutes that normally takes an hour and a half. So that's 6 times faster. So it's also cheaper and easier, in addition to being much, much faster and more fun. So our patent pending AI technology reduces lag so that musicians can use real instruments along with their favorite production tools to create music that is at a pro level of quality. And then they're also able to join creator and fan communities so they can find other collaborators or just hang out.
So it's pretty simple. You just grab your headset, any headset, put it on and plug it into your laptop. And then you can jump in to meet up with your friends and other creative community members. What's inside is a gamified environment, so things are interactive. So if you get bored, you can do dumb things. You can watch movies with your friends, or you can actually get some work done and make a hit and throw a dance party and monetize the door. So this is an untapped market at the intersection of creator economy, social media, and music creator tools that is worth over $500 billion.
And drawing from music content creators and VR user communities, there's nearly 1 billion potential users.
So with everybody in the room making beats or podcasts, we think this is an $8.3 billion opportunity. One of the biggest challenges is latency. We all know what that is, thanks to the pandemic and the Zoom. Once you add in instruments, production software, file sharing and syncing, it becomes a technological nightmare when collaborating.
So the current companies that are trying to tackle remote collaboration, they require musicians to give up all their production tools. Now, those production tools are what musicians invest a lot of time and money into because that's what gives them their unique sound. And then, so that way musicians, they don't really use them because they want to do that. And then Meta and Apple have brought in immersive collaboration, but they don't have any file sharing or a network for musicians to find each other.
So what we did is we put it into virtual reality, spatial computing, which enables professionals all the way down to beginners to grab any headset, they'll work together and access this vast creative network.
Now, Chad and I have been working together for the last 15 years as a manager-artist team, and we've experienced the full gamut of the music industry, everything from self-releasing artists to working with major labels and earning gold and platinum records. So we understand the complex needs of musicians, everything from the tech that they use to how they distribute their music and engage their fans. We put together a team with cross-industry talent from gaming, music technology, and media. They come from Beats by Dre, NBC Universal, and Riot Games.
2023, we debuted at CES and we won 3 design awards.
We were also featured on the BBC.
Demoed for some cool artists like will.i.am. Just kept saying this is dope.
So in the first 2 years, our revenue model has 3 phases. We'll first start off with software sales for our collaboration tools. In the second phase, we'll have subscriptions for our premium services. And in the third phase, we'll have a virtual marketplace with digital goods.
First, we'll go after the independent musicians, which is the largest music market on the planet. After that, we'll go after other content creators like podcasters, and then bring in fans.
So musicians also double as influencers. They're always looking to create content for their socials, and then they love to share about the new tools that they're using. So we'll get lots of free viral marketing for promotion, as well as our own tutorials and demos.
We're talking to some cool retailers about getting our stuff in their stores, along with some cool music brands for pairings. Show over.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
And then we're also talking to some music schools about pilot programs for remote education and to some music distributors. We wrap up. All right.
One more slide.
Let's keep doing that.
Closing slide. Basically, the label industry, the old one, doesn't like what's going on. The democratization of music is happening and creativity is happening. And they have literally told us that we're going to ruin the industry. But we're just giving that ability back to everybody else so we can collaborate and be together. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Julie and Chad. I think their pitch is something that a lot of people do for hobbies, being musicians. I saw seemed like 2/3 of this room had their hands up, so that was just kind of fun to see. Maybe we'll see some of your talents in the coming year. The next pitch this evening is Orgo Trees, so something kind of different than that. I'm sure if any of you have taken organic chemistry, a little bit different than music and something that people don't find as fun generally, but maybe Joseph feels a little bit different about that.
All right. So, hello, my name is Joseph. I'm a current biophysics and CS student at Johns Hopkins, and today I'm going to be presenting Orgo Tree. We're trying to make chemistry easy. So what's the problem? The problem is that both in education and industry are lagging behind in the information age. So as published in the leading journal Nature Chemistry, it's a rate limiting factor in drug discovery, organic synthesis, because it's all done manually. And the solution for that could be just artificial intelligence and other automated tools. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to build a foundation of first creating our reactions that are well validated, translating them to the machine, and then using those to build up a machine learning model in order to create a synthesis pathway. So you can create the drugs that you want. So this is only a small snapshot of what you learn in just introductory organic chemistry. This is the undergraduate level. Imagine how many reactions there are at the corporate level. How can any one person memorize all these? It's just too overwhelming. So what can we do? For example, we can take these two molecules. You don't know how to get between them, but you can put it into the program and say, oh, you do reaction A and reaction B. This can be done in the lab, or this can be written on your test. And this is an example of an actual question that was on the Johns Hopkins Organic Chemistry final. This is exactly it, and this is one of the hardest problems on the test, something that everybody gets wrong. And so we want to also make randomized test question generation in order to help people prepare for that, using our known reactions in order to create tests. Because one of the hardest problems about this is that you can't learn from reading a textbook. You have to actually do it yourself. So what's another example? Let's take this aspirin and let's try to see if we can make it better. Let's make a modification. But making this modification is not a trivial thing. This is an actual published synthesis, and as you can see, it has a lot more steps. It's better, but could be better, but it's too expensive to make. We want to help make this cheaper, easier, and faster. Here's another example. Here's two different molecules. They look almost exactly the same, except for one bond, which is flipped up or down. Doesn't seem like a big difference, right? Well, the left one cures morning sickness. Pretty good. The right one causes burst effect, which is not what you want if you have morning sickness. We want to avoid these unintended consequences and be sure that these mistakes won't happen. Because if you make this mistake, you either kill someone or you get a question wrong on your test. Here's an actual example of what we have so far of our basic reaction simulation. Our competitors, there's a lot of competitors for just general organic chemistry review and just general, but very few have large self-test banks. And some of our competitors could be something like UWorld, which is a generalized medical school review. They have a large question bank, but they can't help you with your homework. They also can't tell you, they can't help you create practice questions. You can also obviously hire a private tutor, but that's like gonna be way more expensive. And then there's obviously many free resources online, but they're just limited to detailed explanations. They can't help you with your homework, and they don't have large questions banks. We want to start with the education market because it's a low risk market. If you want to go to industry, you have to be verified. And organic chemistry is already a required course in many courses, so we will have a continuous user base. We have a bottoms-up approach from students themselves or top-down approach from universities and education, and our TAM is going to be $1 billion per year worldwide, but our SOM, we're going to start with the Northeast USA. The follow market will be the pharmaceutical market, of course. This is only in the United States. It's a $91 billion industry for R&D. Imagine how big it would be worldwide and how much they would benefit from this. For example, in drug development, you start with many ineffective drugs, you end with one drug that actually makes it to market. We want to make that initial part faster because the faster you can fail, the faster you can find the drugs that don't work and make them, the faster you get to market. We have some glowing reviews from actual organic chemistry students and professors who are very, very excited about this program. Our future plan is to release to the educational market by 2025 and start beginning entry into the pharmaceutical market once we verify, perhaps in 2026. Other future fundamental markets could be biotechnology companies, academic research, pharmaceutical research, and also governmental funding such as the FDA. And future ventures that we're also thinking about are automated reaction validation, so we can verify the reactions in our lab so that you don't have to. And other expansion to more subjects. Here's our team. It's yours truly. We also have Dr. Git-Tai Kim from the David Geffen UCLA School of Medicine and Thermo Fisher. We also have our advisor, Dr. Christopher Falzone, who is an organic chemistry professor here at Hopkins with over 40+ years of experience. So that was OrgoTree. We're trying to make chemistry easy with fast and accurate chemical reaction simulations.
Thank you very much, Joseph. And our next group, it wasn't even really intentional, but I'm thinking what they are offering and selling could be a good product for those who are trying to cram for their organic chemistry finals, which some of you may have in the coming days. But the next group is Higher Grounds Vending, and we have this is one of our larger teams.
Perfect. All right.
Hey guys, my name is Stone. Joining me are my co-founders, Talia and Alice. Picture this, you're a student running your class, but want a cup of coffee. You stop by your own campus cafe. You look ahead, there's 20 people in line. You look at your watch, 5 minutes until your next class. You look at the menu, $5 for a cup of latte. And then you look at your empty wallet, adds to the frustration. Well, this scenario is all too common. In fact, study found that 92% of college students drink an average of 2 cups of coffee per day each. This translates to a coffee market of $12 million at Hopkins alone.
Indeed, over the past year, we've conducted surveys and interviews with hundreds of Hopkins students, and we can empathize with their concerns for the expensive pricing, the early closing times, and the long rush hour wait. So what can we do to capture this great caffeinated beverage market while also fulfilling our students' needs? We arrive at our solution, coffee vending machines. We'll offer 4 main benefits, starting with an affordable pricing of at least 25% less than at an on-campus cafe. Speed, because our machines are self-service and can make drinks in under a minute. Access, because we plan on installing our machines in various convenient locations across campus. And finally, quality. Users will be able to customize ingredients to their order, and our machines will use real coffee beans sourced from local roasters to brew the most refreshing beverages. And now, our vending machine. From the fresh coffee grinder, the modern touchscreen display, cashless payment, and automatic cleaning system, our business will sure to be a hit, as college students love convenience. We are able to sustain a unique business position due to our high adaptability. As students ourselves, we're able to best understand our target customer base, and we're able to provide a variety of beverage options that can reflect their constantly changing needs and wants. We also pride ourselves in our 100% refund policy, as we believe a great customer service is important for a loyal user retention.
Now, what about affordability? Well, our coffee is 25% cheaper than any on-campus cafe. For example, let's take a standard drink, a medium latte. From our vending machine, it's going to be $2.99. From an on-campus cafe, it's $4.25. And from a pre-packaged option, it's $7. Can you imagine that? So let's look at some of our parameters. We cater to all of the needs of our customers. We're affordable, convenient, we have fresh quality. As you can see, we win all of it. And here is some updates on our progress. We recently signed a partnership with Matthew Moss, who is the director of Hopkins Dining. We also installed and launched our machine in Scotts Bay Commons, so we're now live and operating in a student dormitory. We're also growing our social media by thousands of views every single day because we post a lot of relatable content. Now, let's talk a little bit of statistics because who doesn't like some math, you know? So 77% of people consider our cafe vending machines a favorable alternative to where they currently get their coffee or drinks, and 86% likely will buy from our tea and coffee selection once again. And here are the financial projections. We sell about an average of 30 cups a day, which comes out to $50 a day. And over a year, that comes out to $32,740 in revenue. And that's just for one machine.
Indeed, that's one machine, and we're here to build an empire. What will we do with your money? Well, starting right on our campus, we got 15 prime locations where to put next. Our next location, though, is the Hopkins Club. As many of you know, the Hopkins Library, MSE, is coming to a renovation this summer. Replacing it is the Hopkins Club. So no doubt be a high traffic study spot. Hopkins Dining has requested us to put our next machine there. But that's not all. We're all about expansion. Beyond Hopkins, we're going to expand to local universities like UMD and Towson, and then to the East Coast. In 5 years, you'll see our machine across all major universities in the US. Indeed, we are Higher Grounds. We'll be a nationally recognized beverage vending chain, but that's not what you or our customers are going to remember us by. You guys will remember every sip and savor it, because it is the combination of quality and convenience. To Higher Grounds. Thank you. And just really quick, during the break after this, we have samples on the table behind you for you to taste test. So please feel free to do so.
Okay. All right, and we're halfway through all of our pitches this evening, and we wanted to take a quick 5-minute break. So if you all need to stretch, get more food, or try one of the Higher Grounds coffee samples, you guys can do that in the back. But our next company that is presenting will be in about 5 minutes. You're the one after this, so next. Okay. It would be a lot easier. Just don't. I think we're gonna.
Good evening. I'm John.
And I'm Eric.
And at Evoke Haptics, we want to change the experience of AR and VR by bringing in a realistic sense of touch. Haptic feedback is the mechanism by which hardware communicates with your body, allowing you to feel virtual objects in AR and VR. But this is what haptic feedback looks like right now. It can't give you a realistic sense of touch. And that's because of the mechanisms that it uses. Things like air pressure, pins, and vibration, which can only give you sensations like pressure, poking, or vibrating. What we want to do is actually unlock the full spectrum of touch sensations to give you sensations of temperature, texture, movement, or even speed. And the way we're going to do that is by tapping directly into your nervous system, using the same nerves that your body actually uses to give you real touch sensations.
To do this, we're building the NeuroBand, a wearable armband for realistic, neural-based haptic feedback that is worn around the arm, leaving your hands free to interact with the real world. The way the NeuroBand works is as follows. Imagine that you're interacting with a virtual object like an apple in AR or VR. You have a touch receptor in your fingertip that is connected to your brain by a nerve. Our NeuroBand electrically stimulates this nerve, sending signals to your brain about touch sensations at your fingertip, giving you a realistic illusion of touch in your hand. Our beachhead market is gamers and AR/VR, since they already have the hardware that is needed to connect to our Neuroband. But in the future, we plan to expand to other industries like art, manufacturing, or healthcare. The reason we're doing evoked haptics now is because there's been a sufficient maturation of both the virtual reality market and prosthetics research. I work in a prosthetics lab here at Hopkins, and we developed the first wearable neural sensory feedback device in 2017. Since then, we've been able to tune our stimulation parameters, and this past year, I developed the first high-density version of an electrical stimulator that can be put into a real product.
Now, on the market side, in the past 10 years alone, there have been 435 AR/VR acquisitions. And just last year, there were 35. And investors pumped in almost $2 billion into the AR/VR market, which is large and growing fast. At just a 2% penetration rate, our market is $669 million. At 10% penetration, the market grows to $4.76 billion, and our total market in 2028 is almost $100 billion. There are a lot of companies on the market right now that are trying to do haptic feedback for sensations in AR and VR, but we're the only one that uses high density neural stimulation to give you realistic sensations of touch. These are some of the products that are on the market right now. Microsoft has the haptic pivot, which is basically a ball and joint that slams into your hand. Tesla Glove and haptics are both clunky and obtrusive, and they're very expensive. We're priced at $500 per unit. Our business model is B2C. We also want to integrate with multiple platforms like Oculus, Apple Vision Pro, and others. We also want to partner with AR/VR developers who can give you new immersive experiences, leveraging our technology. And to do that, we'll offer a software developer kit.
This year, we're doing a lot of user testing with our prototype. We're trying to figure out what are the repeatable stimulation parameters we need to use to evoke different haptic sensations, and what is the best location for our electrodes. Later this year, we're planning a larger user study. We want to figure out how these parameters change when you're dealing with a diverse population. The results of this study will help us build our first demo product. We want to build a product that interfaces with real AR/VR hardware like the Oculus or the Vision Pro.
And we think this product is what is going to drive our rapid growth through company formation, licensing, our first B2C and B2B customers, and fundraising. We're targeting an acquisition exit for which we want to kick off a competitive bid process between large strategic targets like Google, Apple, Sony, and more. And we think we're the right team to do it. I'm the business lead. I've commercialized new technologies. I've founded hardware and software ventures, and I've led large collaborative efforts here at Johns Hopkins.
I am the technical lead. I'm a PhD student in electrical engineering here, and I have a lot of experience in hardware development, neural interfaces, and high-speed devices. This is Dr. Nitish Thakur, our advisor. He's a director of the Neuroengineering Lab at Hopkins, and he is a world leader on haptic feedback in prosthetics. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much, John and Eric. And we're going to keep going right along, go through their appendix slides. But next, very excited to bring up Alfred Landick with CellMind.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alfred Landick. I am full-time MBA student at Carey Business School and founder of CellMind, next generation for cell therapy success. So for those of you unfamiliar with cell therapy, especially CAR-T, it's a newly introduced therapy which is aimed to target blood cancers. It's highly efficient and it grows very fast. Last year, the number of administered therapies reached 100,000, and unfortunately, 6 out of 10 patients received this therapy will actually be readmitted back. Imagine a doctor who lets their patients go knowing that like 60% chance that they will actually show up back in the hospitals just in a couple of days. So it's like almost an absurd situation. However, the good news is that we actually are developing a technology that would allow us cutting those readmissions in half. The technology essentially is a deep biomarkers that use as an input different source of information such as demographics data, such as anamnesis, such as omics data, and others. And as the output, we can predict patients who will be readmitted with severe adverse effects, and also we can predict other things such as outcomes of the therapy in general. So these biomarkers, we did develop them before. We developed them for age-related diseases, and it worked out very well. So this is the timeline of our achieved milestones. Back in 2016, my teammate joined biomarker development department at Insilica Medicine. Over time, they developed biomarkers of hematological biomarkers, transcriptomic, methylation, and proteomic biomarkers. And in 2021, I joined a spin-off where I worked with my teammate on hematological biomarkers, which we eventually brought to market, and the company was acquired. So eventually, what we want to do, we want to repeat this success with CAR-T. Our platform at the beginning, it laser focused on cutting the readmissions because we believe this is just the fastest way to deliver the value. However, we have a bigger vision and we want to develop it into a comprehensive platform for cell screening and for outcome prediction and even for manufacturing success. Market size. So right now, as I said, it's growing very fast, and I believe that CAR-T is the fastest growing segment of oncology. It has unprecedented for biotech 35% annual growth. Our market segmentation shows that our most prominent clients would be insurers and manufacturers. However, just as I said, at this moment, we start with clinical trial labs and hospitals because those are places which will benefit from this technology in the fastest way. Our business model, actually, we just want to provide a SaaS subscription. It's per patient for hospitals and clinical trials. It's all about the risks for them. So we want to charge per patient. And for bigger clients such as CROs and CDMOs, as well as pharma insurers, we want to provide licensing agreements. Our competition, at this moment, we are pretty unique in terms of using biomarkers. No one does it except to us in this area. And we think that we are actually pretty well positioned to compete in the US. In addition to this, our focus is exactly CAR-T, which is not the same for most of our competitors who are already making money elsewhere. And we think that we can just outcompete them in this niche. We did extensive marketing research. We spoke to about 100,000 stakeholders, 100 stakeholders, it's not that much. And we did speak to 10 top scientists in this area who actually validated our approach and gave us hints on how to make it feasible. Our team, well, I just introduced myself. I am also a longevity person. I'm a leader of Longevity Association at Bloomberg School of Public Health. Marty is my co-founder. He's also another longevity person in our startup. He is a faculty member at Harvard School of Medicine, and he is renowned in his work on biomarkers. Tanya Jane is our collaborator at Hopkins. She is the leader of CAR-T program, and actually she was the person who suggested that we use it for cutting readmissions. She said, I can cut readmissions in half for my patients. And we have other people, both academics and business, who support us in this journey. So with that, I want to say that we understand that AI should be used this way, right? So we understand 10 years from now, we will be using technologies like this for cutting readmissions. And that's what we are doing right now. We are pushing this frontier. We want to help not just pharma to make money, but also those patients to make this therapy more affordable and to come to a better outcome predictions. We cannot do it alone. So we would need your support. And with that, thank you so much for following through. And yeah, happy to answer questions if there are any. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alfred. And I think what you were sharing at the end of that you want to support patients, not only make money. I think that's really most of these products. They can make huge differences for patients while also making money to continue growing and expanding and reaching more individuals, no matter what the industry is. So next we have Protean. I'm trying to give them a little bit of time because they have a table that they want to show you to have a couple visuals for what they're going to be showing you in just a minute. But very excited to welcome up Stephen and one of his co-founders. They're one of the larger teams, so excited to see many of you in the audience this evening.
Takes a village. Yeah, he does. Thank you. Here we go. Hello, everyone. My name's Stephen Dare. This is Andrew Bodiford.
Hey there.
We're part of the Protean Robotics co-founding team. Protean means highly versatile, and that's what we're doing, building the most versatile robot possible. In a crisis situation, rapid response is a difference between life and death. Victims wait in hope, and rescuers can't be delayed by rugged terrain. As a firefighter, hazmat technician, rescue diver, and systems engineer, I've been in countless situations dealing with these kind of issues, trying to save victims and myself. Introducing ChromeHound, the Swiss Army knife of robotics. It's got the versatility to be able to fly, drive, swim, and walk into a danger scenario to be able to provide immediate rescue for those in need. We've calculated our TAM, SOM, and SAM, representing the local, regional, and national markets by identifying about 1 million emergency response situations that occur each year. That represents the Baltimore area, northeastern US, and global market, or US market, which is 4% of the global market. Currently, our competitors are building one-off solutions that can only fly, walk, or swim, or dive, and can't cross each of these boundaries, which is critical in a rescue situation. Currently, legacy systems are built as one-offs. They're expensive, and their operational loss can be detrimental to an organization. Our interviews with NSF I-Corps, the Explorers Club, first responders, and defense community show that we have a good market fit by providing a versatile robotic solution. First responders can't be impeded by any of these issues in a response situation. And by providing modular flexibility along with a multimodal robot that can go through multiple terrains, we can provide immediate resources for them to be able to provide life-saving rescue. Recently, the Key Bridge was collapsed and people were trapped in their cars because responders couldn't get to them in time. If our robot was available through a regional hub or in the hands of first responders, it could have been launched, flown into the area, landed in the water, identified where those cars were so rescuers could have gotten to them immediately. It would have prevented the need for scuba divers to search in murky waters without finding anyone, firefighters to be stationed along the riverbanks for hours, and police from needing to do additional search and rescue. Currently, we would be operating as a service model. We would provide access to our robots along with an operator. This would allow no overhead and reduction of life cycle costs in terms of search and rescue equipment and promote the ability to save more victims and reduce the costs for fire departments to police departments and national organizations dealing with emergency situations. Ultimately, we'll be focused on software development and hardware development. We'll be protecting our software with copyrights and our hardware with patents.
So currently, as it stands, we're finishing up our rover this month, and then we're going to be also finishing up a quadcopter next month, and then moving on to the submarine technology this summer, and finally trying to wrap up a unified technological suite by the end of the year. And the ultimate goal, though, is not just to stop at emergency rescue situations, but to introduce this technology, which, as you can see right here on the table, into the world of space, where robotics has like an incredible future demand, and where we believe that we can really be one of the industry pioneers and potentially one of the leaders in an incredible space robotics market. And so we've brought together a large group of people from different fields. This includes multiple engineers. I'm a lawyer myself. We have a financial expert. And between all of the talents that we've brought, the ministry of all the talents that we have, we believe that we can be well placed to be one of the early leaders in the field that we're going to be going after in emergency rescue and then ultimately in space. And then we've also been showcasing our technology at the Explorers Club in Manhattan. We've done demonstrations at the Explorers Club, and we've also gotten mentions in the New York Times. We've written articles, 4 of which have been published actually by Springer. And then we've also been in NSF I-Corps, and finally, we've been part of the Washington Compact, which is an early a space standards treaty organization, one of only 90 companies. And so we hope that you'll join us on our mission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen and Andrew. And if you want to move, yeah, okay. While they're moving their demonstration out of the way, wanted to invite Complex DX up to the stage. And this is another one of our larger teams. And I think I just wanted to point out and highlight that a few of their members are actually right now out of town in Columbus, Ohio, because they received a VentureWell award. So it's just really exciting to see how many of our teams are taking advantage of as many resources as they can during their time at Johns Hopkins. But without further ado, wanted to hand it over to Complex DX.
Hello, we are Complex DX, complex technology, simple solutions. Each year in the US, an estimated 31 pathogens cause over 37.2 million illnesses. But quite critically, young children between the ages of 0 to 2 are most susceptible to negative effects of late diagnosis. Say your child comes to you with the symptoms of just a cough. Would you be able to tell which of these diseases they have? I know I wouldn't, and you'd be surprised to learn that doctors also have a tough time determining which disease a patient has without the aid of technology. Specifically, these 4 diseases, COVID, strep, influenza, and RSV, cause a plethora of varying conditions. Thus, there's a dire need for a method of detecting pathogens to expedite diagnosis and treatment for time-sensitive respiratory diseases with overlapping symptomology. Complex DX has a solution. It is a device with a novel biochemistry and electronic sensing chip that permits highly sensitive and multiplex detection of pathogenic signature. The diagram here represents the lateral flow assay or LFA strip that we have created. Combining our novel biochemistry components with an electronic reading device, we have created a diagnostic device that is able to test for multiplex pathogens, where multiplexability is defined as the ability to determine multiple respiratory pathogens in one shot using one saliva sample, giving results in under 30 minutes. This device is compact and would be housed at pharmacies' minute clinics. And it would later be sold directly to the consumer in a B2C model, allowing them to test for multiple pathogens with a short turnaround time. Most importantly, our solution is multiplex. Until a patient positively tests for a certain disease, traditionally, patients would have to return to a physician's office repeatedly. This process can take multiple days, prolonging the recovery and treatment pathway. But our solution gets rid of this long diagnostic timeline by allowing us to detect multiple pathogens in a single test. Our tech is able to perform at the gold standard of the qPCR under an hour in terms of accuracy. Looking at the competitive landscape, existing products have low multiplexability and relatively lower accuracy. Compared to our competitors everywhere, such as FlowFlex and BioFire, our tech is able to easily and rapidly diagnose up to 12 pathogens in one shot in a single strip.
So importantly, our value proposition has 3 unique features all combined into one. So firstly, as stated before, we have multiplex diagnosis, which means only one test will diagnose you for whatever you have. This is also highly accessible. So instead of having a service, well, you have to run it to a lab and get results maybe a week or 2 weeks later. You can get this in your pharmacy. You can walk into your CVS or Walgreens and pick up a test right there. We also have extremely high accuracy, again, comparable to the gold standard PCR, except for executed at a much shorter rate. So you can have a very short turnaround time before you go get treatment. So our revenue model is ultimately we want to have our device installed in the minute clinics that are highly accessible to patients even in rural settings. So this may be in CVS or Walgreens that everyone knows about, or even in more niche pharmacies. And the insurance companies will actually be able to pay for these diagnoses. And this would allow for potentially subsidies from the government to also help cover for this. So this is a very conservative estimate of our market size, but We estimate that $1.12 billion is in just the infectious disease point of care market space. And we would assume that we have around 1.5 million in the serviceable obtainable market for our design. So currently we're still working on validating both the hardware detection and biochemistry, as this is a novel method of detection. In the near future, we'll be working on our patent and also making this publishable for everyone to understand how the science works. We are looking forward to FDA testing within the next 5 to 10 years. We hope to complete that and actually implement that in the pharmacy. So that would bring us to around 2030 to 31. So the impact we could possibly have on healthcare is actually huge. 14 million Americans experience respiratory illnesses every year, and this leads to 4 million lives lost. So that's a huge cost in direct medical costs, which is around 3.2 billion just for the flu alone. And then there's also the indirect medical costs from decreased productivity, all the time you need to take off when you don't know what you have. So our team consists of 8 biomedical engineering students, and we're led by Dr. Larman in the Department of Pathology and Dr. Miranda in the Department of BME. And we're thankful for all the support we've had, both in mentorship and funding from everyone here, and we hope to make a lasting impact in healthcare.
Thank you very much. And before I bring up the last team, I wanted to highlight that the Fuel program, we're industry agnostics. I'm sure all of you got that from listening to these pitches, but we have teams that are representing many of the 9 of the Johns Hopkins University schools. The next one up was with the School of Education, but you've heard from individuals from Arts and Sciences, School of Engineering, School of Business, and many others. And I think that is just something that sets the PAVA Center apart and makes our program really unique. Students are getting to collaborate and meet individuals from all across campus in different departments. But last and finally not least is WellCheck. So I'm excited to bring up Jody.
Ooh, clicker. Okay, and I can just flip. Okay. Hi, I'm Jody. You're almost there. We made it. I'm so excited to talk to y'all about WellCheck. So this is where I taught high school bio in Philadelphia. That was my classroom. But I spent a lot of my off time in the gym, and students would come in. And one day, one of my students, Raymond, with whom I didn't really have a great relationship, walked in. And normally I would generously offer to escort students back to class, but I had heard from a friend that he was going through something really difficult. And so instead I sat down and talked to him, and that conversation completely changed the dynamic of our relationship. I was no longer an annoying teacher, but an adult in school he felt he could trust. And so what's really hard right now is we know generally a lot of our young people are struggling. I was so lucky I had the insight about Raymond, but we often don't. And more recently, the CDC found that more than 50% of our high school females feel persistently sad or hopeless, which is really scary. And what's even scarier is that generally we know our young people are struggling, but it can be hard to know individually who might need additional support. And when we don't know, we can't ask, we can't hope. And worse, in some cases, we can misidentify student emotions, and that could lead to an escalation of issues, especially when we think about our students of color and or students who have different learning or behavioral needs. And so because it's really hard to know how students are feeling, we ask. WellCheck is a web-based app that allows students to complete a daily emotional check-in. We ask them, how are you feeling today? And overall, how are you doing? And the platform allows students to privately communicate how they're feeling with adults in school and self-identify as needing support. The educators then get this unique insight into the needs of their students so they can intervene early, because it's so much easier to address an issue on day 1 or 2 rather than waiting for weeks and months after something's arisen. And so students are checking in every day. It takes about 1 to 2 minutes, which is key because instructional time is so crucial. Educators get the data via dashboard and email, and they're then able to respond to students, connect them to counselors and resources. And in the process, they're building stronger relationships, they're helping students feel seen and cared about in schools, and they're building warmer classroom climates. And all of these are important for students' emotional outcomes and academic achievement. So what's really cool right now is that what's not cool is a lot of young people are struggling. What is cool is that 46 states have policies that are encouraging districts
to establish early identification processes for students who are struggling with mental and behavioral health. So there are policies that are supporting tools like WellCheck to catch things a lot earlier. And so while you see we're not yet in 46 states, we've been able to reach a lot of students across the country. In fact, some of our partners are here in Baltimore City. And we recently finished a round of surveys with our more than 500 teachers, and 80% of respondents shared that they would recommend WellCheck. 87% found that the data helped them with classroom management, and 90% found that WellCheck helped them change interactions with students for the better. We also have been featured in some local news, WBAL TV, and really cool, the Today Show. Okay, on to the business. So about $795 billion are spent in education every year, which arguably is still not enough. About 30% of that is devoted to student support services. So thinking mental health, counselors, programs like WellCheck. So we're looking at about $238 billion free for this type of technology. And it's coming at a time when schools are spending money on ed tech. Folks anticipate by 2027, about $245 billion will be spent on ed tech. So this is a time to be in the ed tech space. We anticipate schools and districts will be charged for a yearly license, and then on top of that, they can get professional development and/or support with data. And this money can come from budgets and/or federal programs like Project Aware, which is devoted to suicide prevention. And Title I funding actually has language reserved for social emotional learning and student mental health. And then there are also more local programs like the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. We also have applied and continue to apply for grants, which we've had great success with, and research partnerships. We're currently working with folks at Northwestern, which has been a really cool opportunity. There are other tools that exist, but we're better, and I will tell you why. We're really easy to use. We're working with kids as young as 5. The data is shared with teachers via email, so they can quickly check and scan. We aim to be affordable, and we have different developmental stages to meet the needs of our elementary, middle, and high school students. Ultimately, we hope to expand into other sectors. We're thinking about higher ed, where unfortunately we know a lot of our young people are struggling. We've been approached by parents for individual family use. And then we're ultimately hoping to work with our first responders and folks in the military because their mental health is significantly compromised. And there's also a greater emphasis right now on supporting it. The DoD recently has a budget of about $1.4 billion for mental health, and new policies like the First Responders Care Comprehension, Addiction, and Recovery Act is designed to support this exact process. And I'm so lucky. My PhD I just finished was in student well-being and stress. I'm surrounded by advisors who are practitioners and researchers and tech folks and business advisors. And so really excited. I think we're just scratching the surface.
Thank you very much, Jody. And that was our last pitch of the evening. Now is the time to get to vote, and here's some upcoming events at the PAVA Center. But before we do that, and before we get into voting, I just want to give another round of applause to all 10 of the teams. They did an amazing job throughout the semester. I think all of them are going to have tremendous impact in their respective industries. And it's really just been an honor to work with them and support them along with Shreen and Fayez and the entire PAVA Center team. I think Josh was busy with the judges, so I wanted to give him, just you can wave and show your face, but I think all of you have probably met him at some point. But now we're transitioning into our audience choice voting. So again, everybody is able to vote for their top 2 teams. This is not ranked voting, it's just 2 votes. And then the winner, whoever gets the most number of votes, will win the second place audience prize of $5,000. The judges who the teams met with before the live pitches are selecting the grand prize. And right now, Shreen in red and Fayez in the black shirt over there are collecting ballots. If you did not get a ballot, you can see Selena and Roanne or Anthony at the front. Do not take a second ballot if you already voted, though. I don't think anyone's going to do that, but wanna make sure. And then the teams are allowed to vote as well, so please feel free to do that. You'll have about 5 minutes to vote, and then in the meantime, we have a couple quick announcements for you, but give you a chance to vote and stretch your legs a little bit first. All right, it looks like everybody has gotten a ballot, and feel free to keep grabbing food. I see Shreen is going away, but we have a quick announcement for her. So she will be right back, but we wanted to take a couple moments to honor our graduating student staff. So if everybody could quiet down just for the next couple minutes, we have a couple announcements and ways that we want to thank some of our biggest supporters, which are our student staff. Shh. All right, I think it quieted down. Thank you, everybody. I know it's tough and you want to connect and chat with all of the different teams. But the work that we do cannot be done without the students who are supporting one another or helping with the operations of our building and everything that we do. So I wanted to bring up the following individuals. We have graduation cord. It is graduation season, and they're in our nice green. So we'll just have everybody come up at the same time, and you could stand in the front, and then Elena has the cords for each of you. So Fayez, you can. Shreen. Selena. Nandita, I don't know if I saw, is Nandita here? We will give her her cord at a later, before graduation. Godson. Okay. Roanne. And then last but not least, Rita, I saw her, okay. But congratulations on your upcoming graduation, and thank you for everything that you've done to support one another, to support the staff and all of the students who make up our student ventures. We'll really miss all of you next year. I think we still have Selena because she's staying on for grad school, but yeah, thank you all for everything. All right, and next, all of you, I hope, enjoyed learning about all of the ventures for the Fuel Accelerator this evening. The application, if any of you are founders yourselves, will reopen in mid to late August. So please stay tuned for that. You'll get plenty of emails. There are going to be social media announcements, and just stay tuned. But if you want to chat about how to perfect your application in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or anyone on the PAVA Center team. And then the Spark Accelerator, which I think 41 teams, I believe that was a record, participated and completed the program. They concluded on Monday, and that application will open at the same time. So please stay tuned for that. And if you want to learn more, just please reach out to any of us. Next, I want to bring up my colleague, Anthony Waters. He's going to speak a little bit about the Social Innovation Lab. He'll be right in this room in less than 2 weeks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love hand claps. On May 16th, we will be having our Social Innovation Lab showcase. So give you a little bit of context. Social Innovation Lab is our only accelerator here at the PAVA Center that's open to both students and community members. And so on May 16th, we will have 10 founders or 10 teams pitching and showcasing the work that they do here in Baltimore. All of our teams are social impact organizations. That does not mean that they're nonprofits. They could be LLCs, some of them are tech companies, some of them are nonprofit organizations, but all are trying to be impactful in Baltimore communities, and all of them want to build what they're doing right here in our backyard. And so our teams are scaling and growing not only their revenue models and their business models, but also the impact that they're having in Baltimore communities. So if you are free and want to join us, please use the QR code and register to come to our Social Innovation Lab Accelerator Showcase. If you are interested in social impact in any way and you want to get involved with any of these teams as a volunteer, potentially co-founder, or a member of their team in any way, it's a great chance to meet them and network with them. If you're interested in learning more about what's happening in the Baltimore community, it's a great chance to learn more about that as well. And I think just a great time to learn more about all of the great work that we're doing here at the Pava Center. So we encourage you all to come out. At this time, we are also, I'm going to bring up Josh to continue.
Thanks, Anthony.
Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Ambrose, and I'm the director here, and it's so great to have you here this evening. A couple of quick things. First of all, I think we did a little shout out. I might have missed it. I was in the room. But here on the wall, we have a chevron that it's in commemoration of our namesake, Pava. And we encourage you after tonight that we'd like to add your name up there. So we have a whole bunch of rubber bands over there. Whether you put your name on it or you just put the rubber band up there, but we want to fill that thing with color, and it's in dedication of the crazy ones who are dedicated enough to make a go out of this insane lifestyle and this insane choice, which is an awesome choice, to be an entrepreneur and innovator. By the same token, right back here between Adam and Rebecca, Post-it notes are a big thing around here, and so we want you to leave a note of encouragement to our entrepreneurs, the ones that you saw here tonight or anyone else. So please do not leave tonight until you have done that. Can we give Paul another big round of applause for doing? Paul has done a great job with the cohort this semester, and another thing, we're just a couple weeks out. We didn't have a chance to do it as an office because it was over break. It's his birthday just 2 weeks ago. Can we give him a big happy birthday, Paul? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Paul. Wonderful. Well, at this time, we're tallying up our audience choice votes. I want to invite up our judges who, again, got a chance to have a full hour with the teams beforehand and ask them all kinds of good questions. They saw pre-recorded pitches, and they have some feedback. They have some comments and some encouragement for the team. And so I'm going to invite them to the front of the room while we finish our votes. And so 2 of our 4 judges were able to stick around. First up is Rebecca Rosenberg from Reboca. Yay! FFU alum royalty. And Adam Phillips is the managing director of Techstars Baltimore and one of our great ecosystem partners. So without further ado, look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. First and foremost, just want to say congratulations to all of the teams. We were really impressed. This was not an easy process, and you're all doing great things. Keep it up. We're going to jump into some kind of individual feedback for each of the teams in no particular order. I actually think it might be alphabetical order. And I hid them in here. Give me a sec. Here we go. Okay. Do you want to start with Evoke Haptics?
And for context, for the teams that saw me come in late, by the way, I was sitting in traffic for like 7 of the teams that pitched today. But I did look at your stuff before. And I did try to watch your pitch today. But Evoke Haptics, here we go. Let's see. That's who I'm going with, right? So we're starting. Okay. First of all, I pretend to be a gamer. Where are you guys? Oh, there you are. I pretend to be a gamer, so I love the possibilities. I think the concept of a less obtrusive model, I think, is dead on. Like, I think the idea that somebody would want to sort of fulfill that vision, I think makes sense. So that's squarely in the middle, which is great. I do think you needed to remember that your audience may not be as smart as you sometimes in terms of your pitches. I always counsel founders to talk to the dumb person in the audience. Don't call them the dumb person, but you should sort of build the model really like from the ground up when it comes to like what we're actually trying to do and how we're going to do it. So that's one thing I would offer as a piece of feedback. So does that make sense? Next.
Great sense. Okay, next is Higher Grounds. First and foremost, congratulations. I'm not sure where you guys are either, and I don't think I'll be. Oh, that was easy. Fantastic. I can see that far. Congratulations on all the success that you've had so far. It's a great product. You're definitely solving a problem. The coffee itself was delicious, I have to say. And that was actually going to be one of my questions for you, and you solved it immediately. I think the one question kind of the judges had was, how are you going to continue to kind of get in with dining services? How are you going to kind of continue to make those connections and build those inroads? I think there was some discussion about the fact that that is a challenge, and the fact that you've been able to do it at Hopkins is incredible. And how can you kind of leverage that into your next opportunities? I think also, really think about kind of your business model on a whole and whether or not this might be something that makes a lot of sense as a franchise or a licensing model, you're definitely onto something. Whether or not it's investable at this stage might be kind of a question, but it is a really great product and a really great process that you've created so far. Anything else? No? Okay, next is MelloSense.
And you guys are seeing, there you go. Yes. First of all, Will.i.am, very cool. I love that. I wish I was Will.i.am. No, I don't. I actually like myself a lot. It's okay. I love the concept. I am actually, again, sort of a pretend musician. I mean, I play a lot of instruments, but in terms of what I actually do, I don't do it for a living, but I love the idea. We talked about the jam session. Like, I get that. I did that. I'm old enough to have been in somebody's garage and done that. So that does sort of make sense. And the fact that this might be the new kids jam session totally resonates with me. I think there is a question of when you come down to, like, you know, in getting an investment, like going to market on that makes sense. There might be an overall question of, well, is that the whole market? And if not, how do you sort of at least hearken to that in the pitch? How do you talk about what does it mean to have sort of a collaborative creation space, and what are the many places, you know, you could use that, but something to think through. Make sense?
Good. Makes sense. Very good. All right. Apparently, I'm in charge. OrgoTree. There you are. As someone who almost failed organic chemistry not all that long ago, I really think that this is a great idea. I really like it. I think that it's a fantastic use of AI. I think it could be helpful to sort of hone in your story a little bit and make sure, again, to Adam's point about treating your audience like they're a small child, like really explaining and diving into why this is important and sort of the relationship between the education model and the new drug discovery model, and kind of if and how those things tie together and what your actual sort of go-to-market plan is. But in terms of the technology, I think that it's awesome. I think you're really onto something. Peripero.
Hi, Peripero. How are you? Good. Really very interesting concept. And I think yours was one of the more technical that made, like, you landed it really well, I think. There's it's hard, it can be hard to explain, again, talking to the dumper, and it sounds terrible, but you have to explain it to people. I only have a JD, I don't have a PhD. You got to explain to me what's happening, you know? So, so I feel like you landed that well, and that in your presentation and your pitch, and, you know, even the questions I got to ask you today. I think there was some question with some of the judges on the ability to pay and, like, where that sort of the commercial application, right? So how do you make, and this is again in the context of investability. So if you're not going for that, which I think you are, but you know, if you're not going for that, you don't have to answer the question. But in the context of investability, there's a commercial application question. Who's going to pay? How are you going for that? Sort of doing the math again from the ground up. How does this make sense as a business? But otherwise, good job. Makes sense. I'm going to keep saying it now.
What are you going to do if I say no? Okay, Protean Robotics. You guys are such good engineers. It's so cool. It's so clear that you like what you're doing, that you're having a good time, like, building this and making all of the pieces fit together. And to you as well, I really think that you're onto something. I think your challenge is that at this point, it feels a little unfocused. You know, I think there's a lot of applications. Obviously, it sounds like there's a lot of things that you can do. But in sort of a pitch environment, I think it could be helpful to hone in on, like, what you're doing now and why you're doing that now. And you can touch on all the things that this could be eventually, and maybe even will be in the future, but kind of following us through one cohesive story of, hey, you know, this is how this could actually have made a difference in the Key Bridge collapse, or how this could make a difference in a significant fire safety event. I think will really add a lot of power to what you're building and what you're developing. You clearly have a lot of domain expertise, not just in engineering, but also in actual emergency situations. But I think telling that story really clearly is going to be one of the best things you can do to elevate what you're working on. Squid 3.
Cool. I also thought, by the way, I wanted to see a picture of the Boston Robotics dog in your presentation. Just call me crazy. I wanted to see the dog. Have you guys seen that thing? It's freaky, right? Squid 3. Where's Squid 3? Oh, there's Squid 3. Okay. I think the scope of yours is very cool. The idea, I mean, everybody loves space, right? Well, not everybody, but almost everybody loves space. There's no oxygen up there in most of the places, so that's a little scary. But I think the vista of it is really interesting, and obviously, like, the application could be pretty sweeping in a lot of ways. I think that strength is also potentially the weakness, right? You again kind of want to walk people through the commercial applicability kind of step by step, even though I think you did some of that with the greenhouse. But yeah, I think the sweep of it's very cool. Good job presenting that. Who's next? I'll do well check. Okay, well check. I'm a teacher. I was a teacher in another life before I was an attorney. I love the concept, and we actually did some of the, I'm sure you did this too, like the check-ins with your students, right? Like the stand-ups, and you try to do it. So I totally get the applicability. It makes sense. I've also sold into school, by the way. So I also started, one of the startups I did, an early startup was, the venture-backed startup I did was trying to sell to teachers software, hardware applicability. So I was selling into classrooms, just like you're selling into classrooms. That's a very hard road, as you know. There is some money, I think, available for social and emotional wellness, which is in some ways more available than it is for things like, instructional, which is ironic in some ways. But I think the concept makes sense, and it's a bit of a slog if you know the ed tech space, but you're in it for the long haul. You're a PhD, you know this deal.
I think the list of things that you haven't done in your life might be shorter. Okay, last but certainly not least, complex DX. Clearly solving an important problem. I think if we can save even one child's life from a respiratory illness, that is worth doing. It is clearly a problem. I think helping us to understand all of the facets of the problem and what contribution each of those facets makes to the overall problem and where your solution is kind of plugging in to solve would really help make that story even more powerful. I will also say, and I say this as a also young blonde woman who is standing up here, that it's giving Theranos a little bit. And so really kind of, I mean, even sort of leaning into that and saying, we understand that that's sort of, that could be what it's making people think of, I think, especially when we start talking about the Minute Clinic. Yeah, like leading into that and saying, hey, and I think you did this a little bit where you were like, this is real science. Like, I promise we'll show you. Is really going to be really beneficial to you all. But great job, clearly solving a legitimate problem. And yes, anything else? Absolutely.
Just to acknowledge, like, the breadth of the opportunities that you guys are presenting is very cool. And also recognizing that not everybody's looking for, sorry, I keep turning my back on you guys. Not everybody's looking for investment either, and that's great. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, you guys honestly should never take investment. You should never do it. You don't need to do it. You can have a great big business and not use other people's money. Don't take dilutive investment. But you know what I mean? Like, there's lots of ways to win in business, and that's one of the things I love about entrepreneurship. So very, very excited to see all the pitches and to get to do this with you guys. Are we doing a winner? Josh, do you want us to do that? Or we're stopped? Okay. Gotcha. So you want to kick us off? Got it. Okay.
Well, actually, if you want one last little break to get water or do whatever, but you're going to be ready. I was told in about 2 minutes, counting the last project.
I could just do jokes for 2 minutes if you want.
Yeah, we could. Would you like to talk about Techstars for 2 minutes?
For those who don't know, Techstars, what is Techstars? Oh my goodness. It's a conglomeration of ideas and heart. No, I'm just kidding. We are an early stage venture capital pre-seed investor. We do use an accelerator model. An accelerator model has been around forever. We're all over the world, but we are right here in Baltimore, most importantly. One of the best things about, I think, pre-seed accelerators is we get to take chances on people. We are really betting 90% in my mind. It's 90% on the entrepreneur and 10% on the idea. Now, your idea can't be uninvestable. Like if it's uninvestable, meaning like I can't make money on it because again, my business is not your business. Your business is your business. My business is making money off of your business. So I have to find investable businesses. But like, it's so great at the pre-seed level because I can just take chances on great entrepreneurs. One of the entrepreneurs I took a chance on is standing right here in front of you. Her name is Rebecca Rosenberg. She's one of your own. I call her Rebecca from Reboca because I just love, that's the name of her company. I love the rhythm of that. Probably that's like 50% of the reason why I chose her for the accelerator is because I love the rhythm of saying Rebecca from Reboca. But no, we definitely love the work we get to do. We love the work all over, but I love the work we get to do here in Baltimore. So if you're interested in doing early stage, I'm happy to talk to you about opportunities here as well as anywhere else, but mostly here. So, all right.
Thank you. Sorry to make you work.
Thank you so much, Adam and Rebecca. Again, we just appreciate your time and watching these videos and giving feedback. And I want to bring Fayez and Shreen up here. They are going to share a little bit of wisdom about the cohort, but also introduce the cohort prize winners. So to remind all of you, the cohort got to vote for everybody except themselves in a ranked order to pick the team that they thought was deserving of an additional $3,000. There was no set rubric that they had to follow. It was really just based on how, which ones they felt deserved the support, or teams that were very helpful to them during the time throughout the semester. But I don't actually know the three winners yet, so I'm very excited. But I wanted to, Shreen and Fayez wanted to share a couple words and then introduce.
Hi, everyone. Shreen here. Well, that was a very inspirational time. I always love Demo Day because I get to share, or we get to share everything that we've done over the course of the last 10 weeks throughout the accelerator with everyone who comes to join us. So every single week, we have our weekly meets on Wednesdays where we have a speaker come in and we have someone on the hot seat go ahead and prepare themselves for this day. We give feedback to the team that presented. And then on Fridays, we have workshops and breakout rooms to communicate, give each other feedback, share concepts, theories, models, whatever it is. And it's just so exciting to see everybody present and kind of wrap up and also see how much they've grown throughout the journey. So it's a very fulfilling time and position to be in, and also to see everybody grow throughout the whole process. And of course, Fayez is someone that I work with and also is a colleague and classmate and peer. And so I'll give him to share something.
I think you have covered everything, what we can do next. I think everyone is just waiting to hear the name here. So yeah, I don't want to keep them waited along, or you can wait even. Okay, so we are going to announce the cohort prize. Maybe a drum roll for the cohort prize. And it's
Evoked Haptics.
Congratulations. All right, I'm going to hand the mic over to Josh, and he is going to announce the audience prize.
All right, I'm really jazzed. I'm really jazzed. I'm full of caffeine because they fueled us up. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause. Higher grounds, come on up, guys. I was too fast on the trigger finger. Amazing, good work. Up, Raghib wants to take your picture. Thank you, audience. It was a lot of tallying up there. There's a lot of votes. Good job, guys. Nice work.
All right, and now I'm going to make Adam and Rebecca come back up here to introduce who they selected for the grand prize. They can share a couple more thoughts. They already shared some different feedback that they had for each of you, but wanted them to get to present the giant check. It's slightly bigger than the other two giant checks.
It's comically oversized, we call it.
Okay. How does this work? Do we hold it? Do you hold it? Okay.
Here, I'll hold.
Saying a few words, building up the suspense. We're really excited to give this comically oversized check to a company that we thought did an incredible job pitching, is solving a problem that I think we probably didn't know existed. But now we understand it and see not only the applications for this technology in sort of the main industry, but also in some others as well that could also have a really big impact on the world as we know it. Anything else you'd like to add?
I can't wait to turn this around.
Okay, so let me make sure I don't mess it up. There we go. Okay. Congratulations to Squid 3. Well done. Yeah.
Take a photo. You in the middle.
Yeah. Hold the check. There you go. Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
All right, thank you again to everybody for attending this evening. And congratulations to all 10 of the teams. Really, all of them grew tremendously throughout the semester. All of them are going to continue to be able to connect with us as Fuel alumni, hopefully support the next cohort in the fall. It was really nice to see a few, I don't know where they went now, different Fuel alumni in the crowd from last fall and then different semesters. So we will be reaching out to continue this connection and really want to congratulate all of you for everything that you've done